Hi, this is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouKnow.com. Welcome to Morning Mindset Cafe, where today we are discussing Napoleon Hill's Success Through Positive Mental Attitude. He actually co-wrote it with W. Clement Stone. I have a hard copy. Mine was printed in 1969. The original book first printing was in 1960. Those in the live program today with me have access to a PDF. It is in the seat next to me. Those watching the recording, you can't see this, but you can go to that link and download the PDF of Success for a Positive Mental Attitude and have the entire book to yourself. Today's topic, we are in the section about mental bombshells. And there are the bombshells for attacking success is actually what it's called. And we're in chapter 6. And the chapter is titled, You've Got a Problem? That's Good. The portion that we are on, I'm in the book on page 75. And if you're looking at the PDF, then you can find the section on chapter 6 that has a header or a bolded portion titled, It Only Takes One Idea Followed by Action to Succeed When Others Fail. What I found interesting about this portion is, as I have on every story written in Think and Grow Rich and Success Through Positive Mental Attitude, is that they're referencing the Depression. And we have been experiencing a recession, which is similar enough in our response to the economic environment that we find ourselves in, that each of what we're talking about, each story, each principle, each idea, each takeaway is vital for our success because we're in it, or we're just now coming out of that feeling of on the precipice of economic collapse. Although some actually have experienced it, right? Some have had foreclosure, some have had bankruptcy, some have had, those are the drastic measures. Some have experienced, the wiping out of the emergency savings. You know, it was all well and good. We had a year saved up, gone. Well, you know, when you're however many years into a recession. Some have wiped out their retirement funds. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because you can always rebuild. And how can we rebuild? I'm going to tell you that all it takes is one idea. Then follow it with action. That's how you rebuild. All right, so quick shout out and hello to Catherine and Donna. Welcome. The story goes in this book that in 1939 on Chicago's North Michigan Avenue, in an area now known as the Magnificent Mile, office space was going begging. That means it was completely empty. Building after building had empty floors. One that was half rented was considered lucky. It truly was a bad year for business, and negative mental attitude hung over Chicago real estate like a cloud. You would hear things like, no sense in advertising, there just isn't the money around. Or what can you do? You can't fight the times. Boy, it sounds familiar, doesn't it? No sense in advertising, no sense of marketing. Right? There just isn't money lying around for that. What can you do? You can't fight the times. You can't fight the environment, right? Then into this gloomy picture of negative mental attitude came a building manager. And he had with him a positive mental attitude. He had an idea. And then he got into action. So this man was hired by Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company to run a large building on North Michigan Avenue, which they had acquired in a mortgage foreclosure. When he took the job, the building was only 10% occupied. Within 1 year, it was 100% rented with a long waiting list. What was the secret? The new manager accepted the problem of no demand for offices as a challenge rather than a misfortune. And here's what he did. And he explains this in an interview. I knew precisely what I wanted. I wanted to have the premises 100% occupied with choice, substantial tenants. I knew that under the prevailing conditions, it was likely the offices would not be rented for possibly several years. I therefore concluded that we had everything to gain and nothing to lose. Everything to gain and nothing to lose by doing the following. 1. I would seek out desirable prospective tenants of my choice. 2. I would stimulate the imagination of each prospect. I would offer him the most beautiful offices in the city of Chicago. 3. I would offer him the superior offices at a rental no higher than the one he was now paying. 4. Furthermore, I would assume responsibility for his present lease, provided he paid us the same monthly rental under a 1-year term. 5. In addition to all of this, I would offer redecoration without cost to the tenant. I would employ creative architects and interior decorators and remodel the offices of my building to suit the personal taste of each new tenant. This is what he reasoned. He says, if an office were not rented during the next few years, we would receive no income from that office. So we had nothing to lose by going into such arrangements as he just described. We might come out of the end of the year with no income, but we'd be no worse off than we would have been had we not acted. And we would be better off because we would have satisfied tenants who would in future years supply dependable rentals. Furthermore, it is an established custom to rent offices on a 1-year basis only. In most cases, there would be only a few months left to run on the old lease of my new tenant. Promising to assume these rentals was therefore not too great a risk. If a tenant should vacate at the end of his year, it would be comparatively easy to re-rent in a well-filled building. The redecoration of his office would not be money lost, as it would have increased the equity value of the entire building. The result? Marvelous. Each newly redecorated office seemed to be more beautiful than the one that had preceded it. The tenants were so enthused that many expended additional sums. In one instance, a tenant spent an additional $22,000 in remodeling. So at the end of the year, the building, which had started off only 10% rented, was 100% rented. None of the tenants wanted to leave after his lease expired. They were happy with their new ultra-modern offices, and we gained their permanent goodwill by not raising the rents at the expiration of their first 1 year's lease. So let's take a look at this story. Here was a man faced with a serious problem. He had a giant office building on his hands that had 9 empty offices in it for every one that was occupied. And yet, within a year, his building was 100% rented. Right next door, up and down the magnificent mile, were dozens of office buildings standing idle and practically empty. So the difference, of course, we know the difference was the mental attitude each individual manager brought to the problem. One man said, I have a problem, that's awful. And the other said, I have a problem, that's good. So one who seizes upon his problems as opportunities in disguise and scrutinizes them for the good element that is going to be there is the man who understands the very core of positive mental attitude. The one who develops an idea that can work and follows it with action will turn failure into success. Time and time, this pattern repeats itself time and time again. Problems and difficulties turn out to be the best things that could have happened to us, provided we translate them into advantages. The economic problems of the nation and of the world arose as a result of the Depression. Depressions are caused by cycles in the economic life of a nation or nations, but it's not necessary to sit idly by. There is no need to be beaten and tossed to and fro by the cycles of life. You can meet the problem of cycles and conquer it intelligently, and in so doing, you can often acquire a fortune. All right. What are your thoughts? Got any? I can share with you a recent example of this in action where during the recession, a woman was seeing more and more houses in her neighborhood being foreclosed and left, owned by the bank, and yet looking trashed and looking worse as time went by because nobody was keeping up with the maintenance of the houses on the outside, right? So of course, here you are in a neighborhood. Think about this. I don't care what level of neighborhood you are in. If you're in a thriving neighborhood, you've got people who mow their lawn, they clean their windows. They keep most of the stuff out of the front yard. Even if it goes into the backyard, it's usually hidden by a tall fence or sheds. But general maintenance and care is taken when there are groupings of homes. Take away the people living in them, and quickly a house will become a structure that deteriorates. This was happening, and this is what this woman was seeing. She got laid off. She didn't have a job. She had idle time. So one of two things can happen. Negative mental attitude, having been laid off, lost the job, looking for work, can't find work, would say, I am never going to find another job, and look at all this crap I'm living in. Everybody's leaving. Why won't the banks do something? Why won't the realtors find a way to sell these houses, right? Positive mental attitude. She said to herself, what can you do? Well, what she decided was to keep herself busy. It's just general, right? Just to keep herself busy. She went to the bank and said, you know, this property or two that you have foreclosed in my neighborhood, this is what they look like. If you would allow me, I would like to go in and clean them up. I'd like to go in, clean them up, and make them presentable. So if nothing else, it helps me to keep my house looking like it's in good shape as well. I'll do it at no charge. The bank was smart. Said, okay, we'll let you do that. And so she did. And then they asked if she would do another one. And I think it was about the fourth, maybe fifth one that she went in and she cleaned up. Right? She didn't like fix it all up. All she did was just clean it up. So you can imagine when somebody's angry that they've just been thrown out of their house. There's a lot of trash and destruction that can go on inside a house. And this was the case in that area. So if a carpet needed to be pulled up, she did. But she didn't go in and repaint. She didn't do repair work. What she did was she went inside, cleaned it up so that it was safe to walk through and clean to see. And then mowed the lawn and did a little trim work. Basic things of what you as a homeowner might do. So she's about the fourth one, could be the fifth one that she did for free. And the bank sold two of the houses that she had cleaned. The bank goes to her and says, we will pay you to clean these houses. And if you know of somebody who can do a little repair work, like a handyman kind of thing, let us know. What turned into for her is she owns a cleaning business. She's not interested in the repair work. She's not interested in the handyman work. She owns a cleaning business. She turned it around for herself, did work for the bank, every foreclosure they had. Then she did work for other banks, every foreclosure they had, then worked with realtors to go in and clean after a move out and prep for showing. And she has employees today, and she now is the owner of a cleaning business. One idea, followed by action. And it wasn't even an idea for her to make money. It wasn't an idea for her to actually do anything except clean up a little bit around her own neighborhood so that she wouldn't feel any worse than what she already felt. And honestly, I think the side benefit, one of those unintended consequences I'm imagining if I were to do that would be, now you don't have to pay for a gym, do you? So you're getting a workout, plus you're cleaning up your neighborhood, and then it turns into work. Now she can get paid. Now she doesn't have to look for a job, and then it turns into a business. Again, one idea followed by action. Followed by action. That's recent. That's been in the past 8 years since the recession hit. That was her response. How many other can we come up with that's been recent? These past 8 years since the recession really hit. In September of 2008, the financial world just went upside down and sideways. And by mid-2009, it was starting to hit the layoffs, the firings. I mean, it happened in the financial sector. I saw it. Hundreds of thousands just suddenly shut the door. You're out on the street. All right. And then the collapse. So a couple of years go by. We have foreclosures happening. More and more people have gotten laid off. We have extended unemployment throughout each state. We have federal government steps in to supply states with additional monies for more extensions, just so people won't lose their homes. The bare basics are covered. Jobs just weren't there. In some areas, they literally shuttered the town. The town was shut down. People had to leave. Same thing that had happened before. It's going to happen again. We just assume it will. So why don't we begin now with the idea, okay, that we can see those instances differently. We don't have to go into panic mode. We go into idea mode and we take action on those ideas. What do you think of that? I can tell you, when I started my business, I remember thinking, I started my business June of 2008. So yay, 8 years celebrating this month. Yeah, that's it. You guys know me. That's the extent of my celebration. And I can remember thinking when the telephone stopped, because most of my business was coming from the financial sector, and thinking, I should have done this a year ago. If I'd have started this a year ago, I would have money in the bank. But I did have money in the bank because I had saved during that year. The reason I didn't start the business was so that I could have 1 year capital to run the business, 1 year of living expenses. And I was very, very grateful that I had done it that way. But now I really didn't have a choice, did I? I had to have the business work. Had to. There were no jobs. I'm in an area that the minute we have a low in the economy nationwide, this just plummets here, everything. People seize up. They're going to keep their jobs. They're going to do whatever's necessary. It's an attitude of, I'm never going to leave here, because if I leave, I'll never find another job, because you can't find work once you leave here. It's not a thriving, growing community here. So I was kind of forced into making this work. And I'm glad I was. It's the same feeling as any other business owner has when they own a business. Hey, you got to make it work. So what kind of ideas did I have to come up with? I mean, I had to go into all new markets. I did. I went into new markets. I offered different services, kept an ear out of what people were looking for. I was told by a couple of clients that came back what they were looking for. Yes, we can do that. Sure, we can do that. We'll take it. Take whatever work you're going to throw my way. And I made it. I'm still here. Still here. Thriving now. The business turned around and really started taking off, a couple of years ago. So, but it was based on take an idea and put it into action, right? What are your stories? Do you have any? Do you know anybody who did something a little different? What do you think about the idea of take one idea and take action? Would love to know your thoughts. You are welcome to jump into the live stream with me and have a conversation about it. And one little note to everybody, it is Wednesday. It is Wednesday, so I'm going to be closing down the room about 10 minutes early because I have a networking meeting that I open up here online, and I'll share the link with you shortly. All right, Catherine, love that idea because I live with me. Okay. I'm not quite sure what you're saying, Catherine, but okay, I'm glad you love that idea. Good morning, Paul. Welcome. Men. Oh, I love that idea because I live with men. All right. Men only take one at a time, or they can't do anything because too many ideas and they can't do anything. That's interesting. That's interesting because many, many men are very, very focused, aren't they? So you can see it in action. They have the one idea and boom, that's it. That's what they're going to go do. Is that what you're saying? Oh, the husband gets upset if she gives him a litany of chores. So he's better off if you just say, go do this, one thing at a time, right? The idea is give us one thing, and when we're done, then give us another. We can learn a lot from that, Catherine. Oh my goodness, we can learn an awful lot. One reason that many women are viewed as flighty is because they seem to have so many things going on at once and don't finish anything. And yet, a lot of them do. It's just kind of their way. Cindy, the key is to take action. Oh, yeah. My dad was eating pretzels and cheese as a snack my entire life. Had he done something with that great snack other than eat it himself before compost came along, he'd be a rich man. Oh, yeah. I've had, how many ideas? Who here is an idea factory? Who here is an idea factory? I know somebody in here is. And I know some days I can be. And some days it's, boy, somebody ought to do something about that. Wouldn't it be cool if somebody did that? Now, I can say that and freely move on because I have the business that I have, the work that I'm doing, I enjoy, I'm thriving. I'm not placed in a position that I really need to take action on an idea. What happens, though, when you don't have that safety net, if there is one, if you want to call it that? Then it becomes necessary. One of those ideas, we need to do something about that. Catherine's talking about her husband. She was asked if she would show him her schedule, and she said, no, it won't make any sense to you, and it won't look like a schedule, but it works for me. Yeah, I get that. So didn't the iPhone start during the supposed recession? Now people will mortgage their home to get the phone, no matter what their financial situation. For many people other than me, that is. Mortgage your home. I don't know about mortgaging your home. Yeah, the iPhone actually came out, was it 07? 07, 08? I'll have to look that up. Hold on. Thinking it could have been 09. Yeah, 08 was the crash. In 09, I was at a business conference in Stone Mountain, Georgia. And the the hostess of, it was a small business conference. She had just gotten the iPhone and was going nuts with it, going crazy. Could not believe what she could do on her phone. It was kind of fun to watch her, but looked like a waste of time to me. Hence, I'm still an Android person. But I use a phone for, call, text, look up a map every once in a while. That's it. So probably 09, right? Either the first or the second generation came out in 09. Yeah, Stone Mountain, Georgia is a great place. It was an awesome conference. Yes, Cindy. So people sell things for the iPhone. They're welcome to it. January 07 was the first iPhone. Thank you. So I'm remembering that she had I wonder if she had probably waited to get it because of the cost, because that was prohibitive as well. So yeah, anything can happen. I had heard when I'd started my business, and then when the crash happened, I had heard from a lot of people that, well, the best businesses were started during the recession, or during the depression, or during really low economic times. Of course, today I can see what they were talking about, and I don't know that they could have really explained it all that well to me at the time. But the reality is, you get really creative, don't you? Get really creative on ways to make money, because you have to. There's the bartering system, which is what the gal that I told you about actually didn't even start out as a barter. She just did. I'm willing to do this for free to clean up these houses in exchange for having a nice neighborhood to live in. Look at the houses and neighborhoods in Detroit. Finally decided that a lot of them would simply be bulldozed over, and a change in the economy of neighborhoods, right? That turned into, I know of neighborhoods where used to be just middle-class houses, now have some agriculture there, cleaned up the land and have planted gardens, basically. I know of neighborhoods there that city services were flat out shut down, stopped. So you had no garbage pickup, you had no cleaning crews coming through on the streets, you had no lights in the streets. So in some neighborhoods that wasn't such a good thing, because those with negative mental attitude magnified it. But in others, some of them got together and they would have neighborhood parties, lawn mowing parties. And they got out there, some had ride-em lawnmowers, some had manuals. They get out and just mow the empty lots, and of course their own. But it was the empty lots that would get overgrown because city services had stopped, right? They took it upon themselves to go shut off water, shut off, gas, make sure they were capped off. Some knew what they were doing, so they did it correctly. Then there were others, and it turned it into a community thing. Somebody had the idea and took action, and somebody followed, said, yeah, let's do this. What else are we going to do? Either sit around and bemoan our fate, or let's do something. And so some of those neighborhoods actually now are thriving. Some are artist communities because they were attracted to what those people were doing. It just took one idea. That's all it is. Any other stories? Anybody have any comments or thoughts that you'd like to share about that? Turning that negative into a positive, turning the disadvantage into an advantage, having the idea and taking action on it. No thoughts? How about takeaways? What does this do for you in terms of how you're going to move through the day today? What do you think about that? What can we take away to move forward? What does that mean to take away, right? The idea that you take one idea followed by action. Just taking away action, okay? Any other thoughts? Have to keep going and keep doing because the action will be better than the inaction. Okay. Any other thoughts? How about one of my takeaways from this is grasping the idea for the day, just for today, of looking at my top 3 things that need to be done today and the action that's going to be taken. There might be something extra I could put into it. Look at it a little differently. It being, it's not necessarily a problem, it's just a project that's on the table. Or moving forward with the day in problem solving mode, right? Because this is the idea here, is the idea we have is to solve a problem. So purposefully move through the day with, I will be a problem solver on purpose today. And when I see a problem, whether it's mine or somebody else's, I will apply positive mental attitude to see if I can come up with an idea for a solution. And then if they'll let me, take action, and if not, at least come up with the idea and be conscious of it. Good morning, Anita, and welcome. It's good to have you with us. Any other thoughts about it only takes one idea followed by action for great things to happen? And honestly, to succeed where others fail. To succeed where others fail. There's other stories about that in there where people have given up, where they have said that this isn't going to work. Yeah, many people stop at the idea, but what about people who have the idea and begin to take action and then give up too soon? There you go, Catherine. Or some fail to actually see they have a unique idea. So, Cindy, what is the next $1 million idea? How can I turn my ideas into money where there's not money to start creating the idea? These questions are answered, or they're worth $1 million. So many ideas take money to get started as concrete products. If there are problems to be solved, then those can be solved without money, usually. All right, so remember we had this discussion not too long ago. Somebody was sitting in the chat bemoaning her fate. Kind of sounded that way, even though I know that by her response it really wasn't. She was looking for, I have this to do. How can I get the money? Right? That really wasn't her question until the end of the conversation that we all had with her. The issue was, I have this great idea. I don't have any money to put it into place. Now it's time to get thinking and asking, where can I get the money? How can I make this happen? It's interesting that, Cindy, you're thinking about the next $1 million idea. Why not just move forward with something that doesn't have a dollar attachment to it? Why not say, how about I go ahead and write the ebook? Right? Write an ebook, publish the ebook on Amazon, promote it a little bit to get the word out that I published this ebook, follow it by a webinar to talk about what was in the ebook, Start building an email list from that. This is a step by step, right? For the idea that you have, whatever that idea is. And then there is I guess it's like a slot machine. Watch others until they leave just before they win the big pot. Then someone else steps in and wins on that machine. Yeah, those are opportunities. I see that when other people are sharing how they fell into an opportunity. But really, I think what was happening was they were simply open to it. And it's the way they were thinking. In discussion with somebody, they're saying, yeah, well, I've put everything I want into this. I'm done. I'm just done. All right, so here's one. I had a young fella that was selling glitter with the sole purpose of annoying the recipient. So it wasn't glitter in a tube. It was glitter that was dumped into the envelope. That's all he did. It was a joke. He threw up a website and he somehow got publicity. I'm not sure where the publicity came from, but it went like wildfire. It was like $9. It could have made a killing. But he got overwhelmed with orders. So there's the choice, right? You get overwhelmed with orders. You really weren't prepared for this. This isn't my life idea. I'm not in it for just the money. It's like, what am I going to have to do? I don't know what his thinking process was, but if he wanted to actually sustain it as a business, it would have required that he find a place to do the fulfillment, which is to fill the little packets with glitter. I could do it. It's not something I want to do, but I could do it, So instead, it got around, you can read the story on Reddit, it got around that this is what this kid was battling. He was bemoaning his fate. He's like, I don't want to deal with all this. Somebody came in, and somebody else came in, and somebody else, and they started bidding on buying the website because they saw opportunity, had an idea of what to do with it, and invested in it. The guy who originally started with it, he walked away, I believe, with $80,000 in his pocket. I believe. We'll have to check that out. I'm stretching my memory here. But he walked away with cash in hand and said, thanks, please take it. So there's a variety of reasons why people don't finish or take an idea through its completion, right? Through to the big success, the big deal. It could be they ran out of steam. It could be their heart wasn't in it to begin with. It was just an idea, and they just like, oh, please, go take it. Make your million. I'm happy for you. I wanted nothing to do with it. Could be that medical issues came up, health. They couldn't do anything. Could be, I know one guy, he's brilliant man. He lives in my area. In his workshop are drawings and ideas for vehicles. He's scared to death to have somebody take a look at them because he knows they're going to steal them. So he's paranoid. Yep. All right, coming from the comment section, we have good idea in the ebook on what I already know and do, what I do, or sharing on social media. Yep, Cindy. Ebooks are incredibly easy to create and get out there. I didn't know that until I did it. Now I can say it because I've done it, and I've got loads of ebooks, slowly but surely coming out. Could be a good idea, but not persistent passion, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of, so what if we are privy to the opportunity to take the idea and run with it? Suddenly it gives us an idea to see we could do more. Right? Or we could take it to the end. It's a way of thinking. That's all it is. That's what's striking me about this morning is what we're talking about is positive mental attitude. It's a way of thinking so that when we're presented with a problem ourselves, we tackle it with the idea of, what can I do with this? What can I do about it? What else could be done? What's different? Obviously, everybody else is thinking that the world's coming to an end, but I'm not quite there. I don't think the world's going to come to an end. Instead, I'm thinking, we have a speed bump here. We've got to get past this. How do we get past this? What is it we're going to do? So it's the attitude that we bring to it. Yay. All right. For those new to the group, Blab does not cooperate when it comes to showing scheduled Blab. So I set up a page on a site, and it's just links. You can either bookmark the page, or you can go to the links there and subscribe to the Blab, and hopefully you get notified. I don't know if you do or not. I don't get notifications now from people I follow. Every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, we are here. Have success mindset resources. If you haven't already done so, feel free to go there. Free downloads that you may find useful. Let's see here. Going through all my links here. I was talking about ebooks and such. There's some of my stuff. Also, we are in the tail end of the pilot program for 16 to Success. That is a program that Christian, who's in the room with us right now, myself and Aaron have put together. We have students. The pilot program is, there's 4 courses right now, which are videos with downloads and access in a secret group on Facebook for discussion and answers and questions, just Q&A, just discussion about those success principles. So the first 4 are up, 4 of 16, and right now the price is at $37. Get in now and you get all 16 courses, because the price will increase as the next 4 are added. And then we have, which is why I'm going to be leaving shortly, professional networking that occurs at the top of the hour in a little over 10 minutes. And we have Georgiana Cavell presenting. She started 1,000 Women Strong. Got all the links out there. So Cindy's saying, look at the popularity of Shark Tank. This weekend, my nephews were using a water balloon filler that attached 20 balloons to the end of the hose at one time. Yeah. Then, when they're filled, they fall off the hose. It was presented on Shark Tank and sold. It's amazing. My sister said she hated tying the balloons before because most often she got wet in doing so. Now there's no tying needed. Unfortunately, the balloons did not do well for a fight because they did not break. However, it was fun to play. That was all over social media. I know, I loved it. I loved it when I saw it. Again, have an idea, move forward with it. One idea followed by action, you can succeed. If your negative mental attitude says, but I don't have the money, turn it around with a positive mental attitude that says, how can I get the money? Remember, we've talked before that principles of success include using other people's money. Just a reminder to you. Things such as creative financing. And I am not a financial person, but you don't have to have the money sitting in your account. There's partners that can come on board with monies. There's, utilizing the mastermind principle, bringing in people who have money, who have resources, who have their own expertise, background, and ideas to help make your idea move forward. All right, then, let's bring this to a close. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for being here and joining me for Morning Mindset Cafe. For those watching the replay, thanks for hanging with us this long. This is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. You can find me at www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Let's move forward with the day, on purpose, with purpose, to grow our hearts, grow our minds, and grow our businesses. Until next time, have a great day.